Well, I'm often asked, what is the difference between a mammoth and a mastodon? Now, they both were large elephantine-sized creatures. They both had two tusks and a trunk, but they weren't closely related. The family tree split about 20 million years ago during the Miocene, and then they continued along parallel evolutionary paths, getting larger all the time. But you see, usually it's difficult to tell if it's a mammoth or a mastodon by the bones, except for the teeth. In this case, we say the teeth will tell. Now, this here is the tooth of a mammoth. Notice the washboard type of a structure of it. That tooth, if you put another tooth on top of it and then put grass in between and move it back and forth, it's going to grind up the grass very effectively. That is what that tooth is adapted to. And needless to say, the mammoths usually lived in grasslands west of here in the Great Plains. And then I might also mention one of our prize collection. This is a lower jaw with a tooth of a juvenile mammoth. It was probably about 10 years old when it died. It was found in the glacial deposits in downtown Kansas City in about the 1880s. And so these two, of course, are real. They were once alive, as well as this one here. This is the tooth of a mastodon. Notice the cone shape on it. It has these various cones, and of course I think a mastodon has something to do with this nipple-like appearance. But the early workers, they had quite an imagination. They compared these to the breasts of a woman. But anyway, notice that tooth. That tooth is not adapted to grinding grass. It's adapted to probably crushing small saplings and small trees. So the mastodons, they live back in the forest mostly. So generally east of here, you will find mastodon remains. And then to the west, you generally find the mammoths. Of course, the mammoths living in the open plains were in the grasslands, and these living back in the forest area here. So anyway, this is the difference between a mammoth and a mastodon. As I mentioned, this one here actually contains part of the bone yet, along with the tooth. So these once were alive. I don't know the exact date of them. I imagine we could probably get a radiocarbon date on them, but that of course is expensive, and I don't think it's necessary because we know that they're not around today. They lived during the Great Ice Age, or what the geologists call the Pleistocene epoch in here. So this case is a comparison of the mammoth and mastodons, how are they different, and the teeth will tell. That's the best way to tell the difference between a mammoth and a mastodon in here.